In this video, we're going to review links. So let's talk a little bit about hyperlinks. In the last video, we created a hyperlink for the About page. And in this video, we're going to finish this process, but also include some additional markup. First, let's look at our footer. I have a link to my website here, or at least I have the content of my website, or rather. Let's look at the footer. I have jeff.how down here as plain text. If I want to make that a link to my website, I can use the A tag. Now when I preview the page, I can see that that's a link to jeff.how. And when I click on the link, it takes us to that website. However, what if I wanted it to open in a new window? I could add another attribute to this link called target. The value for target would be a keyword _blank. It looks exactly the same, except now when I open this link, this hyperlink should take me to a new tab for jeff.how. And we can see here that I have two tabs open now. It's common practice when you use the blank, the target attribute with blank, to add another attribute called rel. This is just a security thing, and for those of you who are more advanced, I encourage you to read about this because it's really important for SEO and linking to other websites. But if you're just starting out, just know that it's good practice to always include this, no referrer, space, no opener, in your rel attribute if you're using a blank target. In practice, it'll work exactly the same. And here we open it up in a new tab. It just protects the linked document from receiving information from the sender website. Okay, now let's tackle our navigation bar. So while jeff.how is just a single link down in the footer, we have this navigation scheme at the top, and that's inside a nav element, and each one of these words is a link to another page in my website. It is really common in web development to structure your navigation, your primary navigation bar, as a list of an unordered list of links. So to create a list, we're going to first start with the UL tag. The UL stands for unordered list, so what we'll get is a bulleted list. If I use OL, I would get a numbered list. That stands for ordered list. So to place items in your list, you need the LI tag, or list item. Now when I preview my page, I have some additional styling because of the way that ULs are rendered in the browser without CSS, custom CSS being applied, and we just see the word stuff. Let's replace that with home. Now we see the word home, but we don't have a link. So now we can finally add our A element with the Href attribute. And here we go. So now we have a unordered list with a single list item and a link to home. Now my goal here is to make all of these look like this. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to replace the href and the content in the middle of the inside the a tag to match what it should be. Now I've replaced my old list of links with a new list of links, and this one is properly structured as an unordered list. If I refresh the preview, I can see home, about, and contact. If I click on about, it takes me to the about page. If I click on the contact page, it says not found. Let's figure out why. When I look in my files, I can see that there is no contact page. So if you received that error as well at some point, check your files and make sure that you have the actual document that you're trying to load. Now that we have our structure set up, we should look at applying our header and footer to all the pages in our document. So currently, when we preview our pages, the only thing that they say is just a placeholder word. So the about page and the about this app only have just plain text. There's no header and there's no links to go back to the home page. We lose our navigation and we lose our footer. So a simple way to deal with that is right now at this point to copy and paste. Our about and contact pages don't have any structure. There's no skeleton, there's no doc type. It's not really valid HTML, although it does work. So I'm first going to copy my index content, and then I'm going to select everything in my about page and paste. And then I'm going to go to the title in my head, and I'm going to replace this. So I'll put the name of my app, which is going to be polls, and then the name of my page, which is about. Down here in my header, I'm going to leave this exactly the same. And then in my main, I'm going to edit this text. This is just so that I can easily identify it when I click on it, and it doesn't look exactly the same as my home page. Now I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go to my contact page and do the same thing. Finally, in my index, I'm going to fix the title. It just says repl.ipt, and I'm going to change that to the polls app. Okay. Now if I preview my site over here, I can click on these links and it doesn't exactly work great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pullout option here to open in a new tab and preview my web page in the browser by itself instead of in the preview. So here I can click home and I can see that my tab, my title says polls-home. If I click about, my content changes. It says polls about page, and at the top I can see polls-about. When I click contact, I see polls contact page, and at the top it says polls-contact. Well, that's how we make a navigation bar in HTML, and it doesn't look like navigation bars you've seen in other websites yet, and that's just because we haven't written our CSS. When we get to that, one of the things you'll learn is how to apply the right CSS styling to make different types of nav bars. That's it for our review of HTML links. Thanks for watching.